Hi, my name is Aleksandar and I'm a brewing manager here at Canadian Malting Barley Technical Center or Malt Academy. Today we're going to be talking about beer appreciation or beer evaluation, if you will. And the first thing that I want to say about beer appreciation is that actually it requires all our senses. You know, even the sense of hearing and touch, but definitely the sense of sight, smell, and taste. Humans are actually very good in detecting different flavors. We can actually detect some compounds in parts per trillion. However, if you want to become a trained taster, you actually have to go through the training in order to recognize or to learn how to explain what you can taste. If we're talking about the components of flavor, the two basic components are taste and the aroma. And as you know, there's practically four basic tastes that we have to use during the beer sensory evaluation, and those are sweet, sour, salty, and bitter. However, when it comes to aroma, those are the volatile compounds that we can detect practically with our smell, and there's over 10,000 of different aromas. So each one of us have a different sensory threshold, or the threshold level of those different compounds, and we can determine that for each single person. But for example, if we're talking about the threshold of a group of people, you know, very broadly speaking, we can say that it is the concentration at which 50% of us can detect that flavor 50% of the time. Then I would say that the other important factors of flavor experience are, number one, mouthfeel. Mouthfeel is actually the chemical or physical sensation in the mouth, nose, or throat. So for example, you know, if we're talking about mustard, what you feel is sort of a burn or a bite. Or let's say unsweetened tea, you get the drying sensation. Then the next one would be fullness, which is the measure of how flavors come together, you know, like the complexity or robustness or body. And then finally we can talk about the balance, which is the overall harmony of the taste. You know, for example, brewers are using bitterness of hops to balance the sweetness of the wort. And we can also talk then about the amplitude, which sort of describes the strength of the flavor during the beer tasting experience, if you will. So we can have early amplitude, where flavor peaks at the beginning of the beer taste. Then we can talk about the middle amplitude, where the flavor sensation actually peaks during the tasting experience and sort of expresses itself within the other flavors. And then, of course, we can have the late amplitude, which sort of conveys flavor expressed towards the end of the flavor experience, you know, including the aftertaste or linger. So balanced amplitude is then considered to be the flavor intensity during the entire flavor experience. I would say that the next important thing for the whole beer tasting experience is to choose the correct beer-ready glassware, which obviously needs to be clean. The other thing that I have to mention here is that you should never drink beer from the bottle. The reason for that is that if you're drinking the beer from the bottle, as you can see, you know, the neck of the bottle is very small and the beer only goes through your mouth and not a lot of gets into your nose, which practically means that you can only detect those four basic flavors. However, if you pour beer in a proper container or a proper glass, while you're drinking, your nose is actually inside the glass, so that means that you can actually enjoy some of the, you know, volatile aromas that are there. So when you're pouring the beer in your glass, you kind of want to hold it under an angle and sort of fill 3/4 of your glass to the side, and then the last part, or 1/4, should be filled by pouring it in the middle, which creates a nice foam or a nice cap. to actual beer tasting, I would say that you can remember the 4 S's, or see, swirl, sniff, and sip. Obviously, when you pour beer in a glass, the first thing that you want to do is actually look at your sample. So here you can actually make some conclusions about the color, about the clarity of your beer, you know, the foam, the carbonation, the whole appearance. Then the next thing is actually to swirl the sample. So you can cover it with your hand and then sort of swirl it around, which actually releases some of those volatile flavors or volatile aromas. Then the next thing is you want to sniff. And actually, by doing that, you're detecting some of the, you know, for example, estery aromas that are there, fruity aromas like banana or apple. Then finally, what you should do is, of course, sip. So actually let the beer go over your tongue, and we actually have to swallow. The reason for that is that actually the bitterness is one of the basic flavor compounds, and most of the taste buds that are detecting the bitterness are at the root of our tongue. So you swallow the sample, and you notice all of the flavors that you can detect. You know, you can notice about the mouthfeel, about the fullness, about the balance.